Hey guys, I just wanted to show you guys this new full-size Pixelcade mount that we're offering. Prior to that, we had these half-size mounts, but now we've got a bigger laser cutter, so I can cut these in-house full-size. And the idea of these mounts is it's for do-it-yourselfers, like if you're a DIYer like me, and you don't want to pay the extra money for a custom design mount. These are generic mounts, which should be close. There's different sizes, so you should be able to find one close to the size of your cab. On the website will be the dimensions published of these generic mounts, so you can have a look and see what one is the best fit. And then you choose your LED panels. And I will show you here how to assemble this here shortly. It's a DIY kit, so it comes unassembled. So you get the mount, the generic mount, plus the panels, plus Pixelcade board, plus some cables, custom power cable, etc. And then again, that's a more economical way to go forward than having a custom design mount for your cab. So let me now show you how to assemble this guy. All right, so let's assemble this guy. So let's first take an inventory, make sure we have all the parts. So here is your hardware, Pixelcade board, custom power cable, got a couple LED matrix cables, power supply, LED panels, and we got a couple tie wraps. So let's get started. Let's do these tie wraps first. And so just take these, make sure you got the right orientation and just slip them through. Depending on the mount, there could be 2 or 3 of these tie wrap holes. So just slip them through like so. And these are just to help with the cable management. Okay, so we got our tie wraps. Now let's take our hardware and just go ahead and empty these out. If you find some extra screws, don't worry about that. I always like to include a few extra screws because if you're like me, I always lose some. So it's good to have a few extras on hand. And so what you want to do is you want to take these are nylon screws. And so just take those, go underneath, just plug them in like so. And then take these hex nut, these again are also nylon, and just go like so. You can go by hand. I use this little driver tool just to save myself some time, but if you don't have this tool, no problem. Just screw them in by hand. So let's repeat that for all of them. All right, so with that, then let's now mount the Pixelcade board itself. So this is what the Pixelcade board looks like. You'll have an SD card that's already there, so just leave that in there. And then also make sure that on your Pixelcade board, this is by default, so you shouldn't have to worry about this, but there's a little toggle switch here. Make sure that's pointing closest to the USB connector. If it's pointing this way, it means it's in Bluetooth mode, and you can actually plug in a separate Bluetooth dongle, but that's whole kind of separate use case from Pixelcade. So by default, it'll be pointing towards USB. Just double check that. And then if you look at the label on the mount, it says USB. So that's how you know you want to plug the board in this way and not this way. So USB and then 5 volts, 10 amps only. That's also very important, by the way, that you only use the 5 amp power supply that comes with Pixelcade. If you plug in a 12 volt power supply, you will end up frying the board and the panels. And trust me, I've done it. So just make sure to only use the power supply that comes with Pixelcade and you'll be fine. So let's take those same hex screws here and use them to attach the board. Okay, awesome. So now we got our board attached. Now let's go ahead and attach the LED panels. So on these panels, you notice most of them have this little arrow, so make sure the arrow is pointing up. So let's lift up our mount, put the panels down, and just make sure the panels, just kind of connect them together so they're aligned up. Make sure those arrows are pointing up. And then we're just going to take the mount and line up the holes. So you can start with the center holes. That's the most easiest. And this looks pretty good. Okay, holes are lined up. Let's just take your screwdriver and just go ahead and attach all these screws. These screws are metal screws. If you ever lose them, they're M3x8. So M metric. Doesn't really matter which order you put them in. But let's just do all of them. All right, so we got all this screws in. So you can see we got our mount here. And now let's just connect the cables. So first cable is from here to here. These cables are notched, so they only plug in one way. So don't worry about plugging them the wrong way. You can't screw up. That's one. And then the other cable is going to go from this board, and it's labeled on the mount. So from here to here. So let's take this cable. Okay, and we'll clean this up. We can just kind of bend this, clean that up later. And then lastly, our power cable. This is a custom power cable. Again, this only goes in one way, it's notched. So like this. And then this is what's our power is gonna plug into, and then the male end goes into our board, like so. And that's it. So now let's take our power supply. Again, just double check, just make sure you're using the 5-volt power supply. You didn't, accidentally grab a 12-volt power supply. And just pop it in. I'm just gonna follow my own advice. Yeah, that's 5 volts. And plug it in, and then turn it over. And then you should see the default slideshow running. And that's all there is to assembling this guy. This is the do-it-yourself kit. It doesn't come with the diffuser. Okay, so then once you're all set here, we can go ahead and just clean up the wires. So let's go ahead and start here. What I like to do is just kind of be mindful on the left side of this cable. This is a little bit of a tight fit, so make sure you don't yank that too much. So what we can do is kind of start here and go like so. And then do the same thing here. For the middle, we can just take our own. And again, just be careful on this one on the left. This will vary by mount, so this is only for the P6 where we're a little bit tight on that cable. And then on this side, let's just kind of wrap this up. You want to leave actually room for the USB connector, so let's just go like this. That should be okay. You could take some tape if you want and just tape that down there. Probably could have done a better job on that, but you get the idea. All right, and then just take some pliers or scissors, cut off the ends here. And then this is the USB cable that comes with the kit as well. So this is the USB you plug into the Pixelcade board, and the other end you plug into your PC or Pi, and that's how Pixelcade communicates with your arcade machine. So that's it. And here's the fully assembled mount. Here's the front, and here's the back. So as always, thanks for watching.